Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on any major podcast system, Amazon TV, and YouTube. Join Mary Ann Fairmouth for today's show. Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Indie Beacon Show. This is your host, B Alan Bourgeois, and I have with me Diann Floyd Boehm, who is an award-winning author and has written lots and lots of books. Welcome, Diann.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. So let's start off with helping people understand who you are and what got you into writing. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into writing.
Will do. So I'm a Texas girl, but my husband and I have traveled around the world, and we actually spent 14 years in Dubai, which was very exciting to visit that part of the world. I was a storyteller before I can remember. I eventually started putting my stories down to print and finally have them published, which is exciting. I really wanted to, being my background being a teacher, I really wanted students as well as my own kiddos to love themselves and know that they are beautiful just the way they are. And so it was important to me to take my stories and put them to print so that my students from the past and their kids of the future, as well as my own kiddos, would know that they are magical and they are meant to be beautiful creatures here on earth, discovering all beauty in life.
And one of those ways you've done that, which is why you won the award, is called Harry the Camel. So tell us a little bit about that.
So here's Harry. So Harry the Camel is a fun book. It was inspired by living in Dubai. Camels are extremely important to the people there. And of course, they're just so much fun to ride and be in the desert with. And I was co-illustrator with a good friend of mine, Yoshita, who's a Sri Lankan artist and lives in Dubai as well. And Harry the Camel, it's all about Harry didn't like himself. He wanted to be a horse because he loved their flat back. But something happened and he found out through the experience of helping save a little boy that being a camel is exactly what he was meant to be.
Great. And you have a whole bunch of other stories, and we're going to get into a new series that you've got that came out in 2021 called Moonling, but we'll get to that in a bit. Tell us a little bit about some other stories you've written and books published.
Sure. So the very first book I published actually was The Little Girl in the Moon. And then from there became The Little Girl in the Moon, The Big Idea. And then we have The Little Girl on the Moon and Moxie Town. And what's important to know about them, especially leading into the Moonling Adventures, is that the little girl in the moon and all the moonlings love Earth as much as earthlings love the moon. And so they kind of watch what's going on there and do things. And the little girl in the moon, it's all about liking anyone and everyone, even if they're different, because even if they're different, they could end up being your very best friend. And so this one's really important to me. And The Big Idea, this is really ageless because it's layered, and you just want to reread it over and over again. And the big idea is the wishes are getting lost, and the Moonling girl, she is so worried about the Earthlings' wishes getting lost. So she comes up with an idea, and she and her Moonling friends take that idea, blossom it, and before you know it, the wishes find their way to the stars. It's very beautiful. I love it. I'm hoping we end up writing a song based on a poem that I put in there. And then this one, it gives an opportunity for the young kiddos on Earth, of course, to experience where the Moonlings live. They live in Tycho Crater, which is a real crater on the moon that we can see from Earth. And so with my imagination, the kiddos discover with the the Moonling girls, Moxie, her doggie, they tour around Tycho town. And the other thing that happens is they start learning the Moonling language. And so in the very back, so when you see the words, I have the Moonling word, and in the very back, it shares with you the whole vocabulary. And so as the Moonlings grow within the books that I publish, you will have a whole new language, the Moonling language. And this is it right here, just the beginning. So I'm very excited about that. So those are my books so far.
And I'm curious about the language, being the fact that it is a completely different language that's not spoken here on Earth. Are you working with the kids to kind of create a conversation through social media or any other avenues so they can use those words?
That would be fun to do. I do hope so. I want to get a little bit more vocabulary out and then just start having fun with it. I've shared some of the words to see how they go over with some of my nieces and nephews, the younger ones, and that's kind of how I select some of the words. And if they giggle and think it's fun, then we try to have fun in that section as an incubator to test what we just said, to get young kids to start using the language. How fun is that going to be?
Parents will go crazy.
They thought texting was bad.
So with these books, you've created the Moonling series. So let's start off with the first book and tell us a little bit about it and when it officially is released.
So the Moonling Adventures has been, so the little girl in the moon, the series has been morphed into the Moonling Adventures. And each one of those adventures, you will have the Moonling language with it. And again, because the Moonlings love the Earthlings so much, they actually have an observatory in Tycho Crater, so they can see a lot about what's going on. So in the first one, it's the Serengeti. And I actually had an opportunity to go on a safari there in the Serengeti. So that was very inspirational. And I wanted to have the first adventure to be the adventure that I had in the Serengeti with all the incredible animals in their own environment. After that, we're looking at which one I should do next, dinosaurs of the past, or maybe I might do waterfalls. And the whole purpose again is to show how much we are alike than different, because you know there's beauty in India, there's beauty in Africa, there's beauty in the United States. And so by seeing how much that we have culturally alike in nature or in maybe songs, then maybe we could all get along. And that's what I'd really like, is for people to love one another.
So in these adventures, such as the Serengeti, I mean, conservatism, saving nature and things of that is very important. Is that something you're trying to educate as well, or what?
I think I'll do extended learning. So each one of my books I'm writing, because my background is teaching, I'm writing extended curriculum for the teachers to use in the classroom. And in there I'll have what you were referring to, how to take care of nature, to remember that oxygen is very important, to quit cutting down so many trees because we Earthlings need to breathe. So that's very important. So.
Well, this is a perfect spot for us to stop, let our sponsors do their thing, and we'll be right back.
Authors Marketing Guild, a membership-owned company where authors can learn how to better market and sell their books. Join us at authorsmarketingguild.com.
Factor 7, the newest thriller by author J.D. May, will keep you turning the pages with mystery, betrayal, lies, and infidelity. Ripped from the headlines, Factor 7 follows two prominent doctors who uncover a clandestine plot to spread a bioweapon with a 98% mortality rate. Journey with them as they experience a world of murder, power, intrigue, and corruption. where it becomes deadly clear that exposing the truth is just as dangerous as the weapon they seek to expose.
Hello, I am the author Denise Bryson. My first book is The Things That Cross My Mind, Inspirational Poetry with Life Lessons. And then my audio book is Love's Reality, and it is also inspirational poetry with a jazzy flair. And then my new book is The Sex, the Lies, and the Soul Ties. They're really short stories written from a poetic expression. And then I have my first children book series, the Blinky series, which the first book is called Meet the Coins, and it is both in English and Spanish. And then the new book, From Coins to Bills. I am the author, Denise Bryson.
Do you send book sales to a company that takes most of your money? Do you want a bookstore that supports you? Want to earn more money from your book sales? Introducing a bookstore for indie authors and small press only. Earn up to 80% of your book sales and learn how to better market yourself. Join the 150 authors already signed up to earn their fair share at b4r.store. Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on any major podcast system, Amazon TV, and YouTube. Join Mary Ann Fairmouth for today's show.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of the Indie Beacon Show. This is your host, B Alan Bourgeois. I have with me Diann Floyd Boehm, who has written several books and won awards for her books. We're talking about the Moonling Adventures, or series. The Serengeti is the first one, and it is out in January 2021. And you mentioned that one of your children is the illustrator, is that correct?
Yes, my youngest daughter it's her second book we've done together, where she is illustrating this book, and she'll illustrate, hopefully, fingers crossed, all the rest of the Moonling Adventures.
Now, you mentioned earlier that the girl on the moon, she actually went to the moon, if I understood correctly, and did a tour of Tycho. So are the moonlings coming to Earth, or are they just observing through the observatory?
I'm glad you brought that up, so let me clarify it. So the moonlings live on the moon. So through the observatory, because they love space and studying, and in my book that's going to come out a year from now, it'll share with you how the moonlings, where they used to live. There's a little soundbite of the background. But the moonlings actually live on the moon. So in Moxie, Tycho Town, Earthlings get a chance to tour Tycho Town, Tycho Crater. And again, it's all imaginary, but it's quite fun. But the moonlings live on the moon, just like we Earthlings live on Earth.
So I'm kind of curious, because it is imaginary and stuff, and I'm sure kids would want to play in that type of setting. Are you going to create any games or puzzles or anything that is separate from the book that you can add to the mix of what kids can play with?
Absolutely. We're looking into, we as my daughter and I are looking into how we can have puzzles. We want to have a game board that goes around Tycho Town, and it's all a fun learning experience, and at the same time you're learning the Moonling language.
Okay, again, parents are going to go crazy with that. I hope you have a good dictionary for the parents so you can do quick edits.
What did they say?
You mentioned the Serengeti, you mentioned other places, possibly waterfalls and things of that nature. What is the overall intent, or what other places are you hoping to take kids on adventures through the Moonlings?
Because I've been so fortunate in my life to travel, I am hoping to take them to all the places that we've been, up to Norway, the Arctic. I spent 10 days in the Arctic dog sledding for breast cancer with a group of women, and that was such a powerful experience. I could talk all day about what change that made in my life. So it'll be things like that. Anywhere I've traveled, I'll bring back to them, because there was a moment that I learned something and powerful, or I met someone. When I was in Greece, we went into the mountains, we went down to the lakes, we went into tiny villages, and every single person was just so wonderful. And it's, you know, right, especially right now, with everything going on, I just want people to feel the magic of and beauty of people around the world, and I'm really passionate about it.
So with that in mind, you've done a lot of research, of course, where you have been. Are there places you want to still go and take the kids on the adventures for them?
Absolutely. I want to go to South America. I haven't spent time down there. I was in Central America and Costa Rica, which was really fun, out there in nature and hiking with my oldest daughter. I want to go to the Antarctica, and even though I have lots of friends from Australia, I haven't made it to Australia. So that would be really fun.
So I'm curious, with the future plans, are you looking to possibly take their languages, for example, Latin America, the Hispanic language, and show the difference between that and the Luling language, or show the equivalency like you do with the English dictionary?
No, but what I do try to do is through etymology, which is the study of languages. I try to build the Moonling language based on different countries, so so that, you know, kiddos who Spanish might be their first language know that when I say banca, they know that that's bank, because it's so similar to Spain. If I say another word, it might have just completely made it up in sound, but actually it might have come from Romania. So I'm trying to bring in countries in that respect through the Moonling language.
So in your dictionary of the language, are you showing that connection?
No, but that's really a good idea. I do in the extended learning that I send to teachers with a geography. So I have like the Moonling language, and here's a map of the world, and then this particular word, actually the base of it, the foundation, is from Romania or Spain, and show a connection in that regards. And what I'm doing is I'm hoping that it makes geography fun, instead of just like, okay, this river is la la la, and this is Texas, and this is Louisiana, and this is Australia. You know, I can clearly remember, oh, I can remember Australia, it was pink, you know, and I could get it correct when I was a kid on the map. So I'm hoping the Moonling language gets that excitement going.
Now, through the process of education and your books and stuff like that, you also do your own TV show or cable show or podcast, however you want to call it. It's called The Story Garden, which is behind your head there. Tell us a little bit about that.
Thank you. So yes, The Story Garden is a YouTube, and I read chapter books for older kiddos, as well as books for young kids. And what I want to do is just give a safe environment, but parents know that when they come to the Story Garden, that it's going to be a quality book, and the kids are going to be relaxed, and hopefully so relaxed that maybe they want to take a nap afterwards for the little ones. And for the older kids, and kiddos, I know you're not kids, but middle school age, I'm hoping I inspire them that chapter books are really fun, and you don't want to just skim to the end of the chapter to see what happens and skim to the end of the next chapter. I also try to bring in vintage books. There are a lot of great books that are not in print anymore. And if you were to see my Story Garden, you would see that I have over 100 books here, some from the 1800s, because they're just wonderful pieces of literature, and I don't want them to get lost. And so if I can bring that into their realm, then that's really fun. So for example, I have out there Beautiful Joe. And Beautiful Joe, my 5th grade teacher read to us. And I discovered now as an adult that was a reprint. And that particular book was one of the very first books that ever dealt with animal cruelty and what we can do to love an animal and take care of them, even if they're not beautiful. And that's just a powerful story.
Great. Well, this is a perfect spot for us to stop, let our sponsors do their thing, and we'll be right back.
Lone Star Festival, where Texas authors, artists, and creatives come together for a Texas-sized event. Join us on May 29, 2021 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Seguin Coliseum, Seguin, Texas. Free for everyone. Produced by Texas Authors Institute of History. Sponsored by B4R.store, Authors Marketing Guild, and the City of Seguin. More information at lonestar.bookfestival.network.
Marianne Fairmouth is a career consultant with 30 years experience in the national recruiting world, a multi-award-winning author in multi-genres, and a speaker that gives presentations to help you succeed. Her book, Revolutionary Recruiting, made the top 20 global list of recruiting books. Find her on Amazon, your favorite bookstore, or at fairmouth.com. Join us for the 6th Annual Authors Marketing Event in Granbury, Texas on July 23rd to the 25th, 2021, where authors share ideas and learn from the professionals over a 2-day weekend. Receive your book marketing certification from the only organization in the world that has been doing it for 5 years, Authors Marketing Guild, a membership-based organization that supports authors from around the world. Learn more at ame.authorsmarketingguild.com. Sponsored by indielector.store, a bookstore that pays authors their fair share.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on any major podcast system, Amazon TV, and YouTube. Join Marianne Fairmouth for today's show.
And welcome back. You are either watching or listening to the Indie Beacon Show. We're glad to have you here. Today we have Diann Floyd Boehm. We've been talking about her children's books, Harry the Camel, the Moonling Adventures, the different books relating to the Moonlings. Real quickly, because of COVID-19 in 2020, we were not able to do a lot of events and stuff, but now with the vaccine and things hopefully coming back to normal, I hope you have scheduled some events that you are planning on doing for 2021.
Yes, and actually with you guys, I'll be working and be part of the Lone Star. I'm trying to get the Lone Star. What is the rest of it?
No, it's just the Lone Star Festival. And
Lone Star Festival. I'm blanked for a moment. It happens, kiddos. The Lone Star Festival. And then there's going to be a fair in London, so I'm very excited about that. That one, and then what's coming up also is I'll be doing a book signing at the Kroger stores, so I'm very excited to be part of the Kroger program now and signing their books. And then let's see what else. I'm doing a lot more Zoom into schools, where I'm zoomed in at the moment, and you can sign up for different things, have me talk what it's like to be an author, just speak to the kids, or I read a story. So the teachers get to select from 4 different ways to have me zoom into the classroom. And so that's exciting too.
And all this can be found on your website, I assume?
Yes, that's
And
correct.
what is your website?
Diann Floyd Boehm at .com. That's it. I was thinking about how you were saying my name. So yeah, so it's Diann, because I spell Diann differently. Diann Floyd, Floyd, Boehm, BOEHM.com.
Okay. And through the events, and you also have a newsletter that they can sign up for and things of that nature?
Yes, and also something I'm really proud of, it's for adults all the way down to kiddos, and it's called Shine, and I really want that to grow. And Shine gives a kiddo and an adult an opportunity to be published for free, and they can send to me a tongue twister, a story if they want, a picture. And every month on my newsletter, it says what the theme is. And then I never put the last names, but I put their first name and where they're from. And then we put it in shine, which is a different letter that comes out. And it's nothing but things from people from around the world. And the purpose is twofold. One, for them to be published and feel good about themselves. And second, it's another way of connecting people around the world and sharing. I just really believe the more we connect with people, the more we find our similarities and the more we can like one another and question if we really want, things to happen that maybe like in Yemen, for example, they're really hungry. Maybe there's ways that we can help. And in Africa and parts that I've been in Ethiopia, I worry about them not having clean water, for example. And so when some of the Ethiopian kiddos through the orphanages send pictures, it's just another way for us to connect and love people.
And all of this is also on your social media links as well, correct?
Correct.
And you're available on Facebook, of course. What other systems are you out there on?
I started a Pinterest account, and in Pinterest, I try to do inspirational thoughts as well as different pictures to inspire people. So I hope people enjoy Pinterest as well.
Great. Well, I want to thank you very much for being with us today, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, and I hope you have a great new year. I know it's January, but we want your whole year to be filled with love and joy.
Thank you very much, and same to you. Thank you for watching the Indie Beacon Show, and we'll see you in the next time.
Thank you for watching the Indie Beacon Show, produced by B Alan Bourgeois for the Authors Marketing Guild, LLC, copyright 2021. Voiceover by Randy James and B Alan Bourgeois. If you would like to be a sponsor of this show, please reach out to us at info@authorsmarketingguild.com. If you'd like to be on the show, please complete the form at radio.authorsmarketingguild.com. Music is Always Rejoice by Rampart of Ukraine.